How do we know that President Trump and J.D. Vance intentionally blew up the meeting with President Zelensky of Ukraine? Well, it's super obvious. Zelensky was already here to sign on the dotted line. The agreement had already been made. There was no negotiation. He was here just ceremonially to sign this agreement. And it was an agreement that wasn't particularly great for Ukraine. They were already basically agreeing to pay back through investment more money than the United States had paid into Ukraine for the war. And in addition to that, they weren't getting any security guarantees out of it. Maybe the hint or the possibility of it in the future, but Zelensky's real hope is that the United States has invested in Ukraine when and if Russia invades again, that the United States might have some reason to at least diplomatically intervene. So this whole thing was actually a made-for-TV moment, probably carefully scripted, at least in the mind of J.D. Vance, in order to try and goad Zelensky into seeming frustrated and annoyed enough that it's a matter of looking bad in front of the American public. The whole goal was to try and get Republicans especially to feel like Zelensky isn't sufficiently appreciative and that somehow he wasn't kowtowing and being grateful enough to President Trump. And part of the goal was to make President Trump feel like, well, Zelensky isn't showing me enough respect. But really, Trump had already not been hoping to sign this deal. He didn't feel super great about it because he wanted even more out of Ukraine, but also because he's been having quiet meetings with Putin. We know this, though we don't know exactly what's been said, but we do know that Putin has offered the United States access to critical minerals that are in Ukraine, just in the parts of Ukraine that Putin has conquered and stolen. So basically, Putin's telling the United States and telling Trump, like, look, if you just let us have what we want with Ukraine, we'll give you an even better deal than Ukraine ever could, because we also have all of these super rich oligarchs. These oligarchs have something like $300 billion collectively. And those oligarchs currently cannot engage in business dealings with people from the United States, i.e. all the billionaires in Trump's orbit. So what really they're hoping is going to happen is that the United States will simply be able to divide up Ukraine between Russia and the U.S., and that all of these oligarchs will be able to lobby, spend money, and engage in business dealings, usually underhanded ones, with United States business leaders. Now, it's important to note that these oligarchs, by the way, are super famous, not just for corruption and bribery, but also for acts of terrorism and helping fund terrorist activities. So here we have the United States purposely blowing up this deal. Why? To make Vladimir Putin happy.